Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's press conference for the 29th Annual Hot Docs Canadian International Documentary Festival. I'm Heather Conway, Co-President and Executive Director of Hot Docs. I'd like to start by thanking and acknowledging the original stewards of this land that we occupy as, as settlers and where we gather today. Toronto, or Tkaronto, is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat peoples. It is now, and always will be, the home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We recognize that Toronto is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Treaty. This treaty bound the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee Confederacy to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work, live, and learn on this land. I would also like to acknowledge the leadership and commitment of my co-president, Chris Mcdonald. Chris, I know you're here, but thank you. Yes, thank you. Our dedicated staff, our board of directors, chaired by Lalita Krishna and Robin Mirsky, who have done a tremendous job successfully steering Hot Docs through the last 2 tumultuous years. I'm thrilled to be able to welcome audiences and filmmakers back to Toronto cinemas to share in the incredible stories at this year's festival. As we have done for our past 2 editions, we'll also stream the festival on Hot Docs at Home for our newfound audiences across Canada and for those in the city who just want to join us from their living rooms. Selected from 2,563 submissions, this year's festival will showcase 226 outstanding documentaries representing 63 different countries and featuring 110 world and international premieres. Woo, that's correct. So if you do the math, you know, only 1 in 10 makes it. It's a pretty select group. I'm also pleased to say that Hot Docs continues its commitment to gender parity, with 49% female directors represented in the official selection and an additional 4% identifying as non-binary. This year's slate of engaging true life stories will offer diverse perspectives on a wide range of urgent social, political, and cultural issues from across Canada and around the world. As we emerge from the uncertainty of the pandemic into new uncertainties in our world, we hope these compelling stories will help further understanding and offer much needed empathy for others and inspire hope and change for the future. Please join me in welcoming the incomparable Shane Smith, Hot Docs Director of Programming, who has led our talented programming team in curating this year's festival. Thanks, Shane.
Thank you. Thanks, Heather. So how have you been? It's been a long 2 years, but it's great to be back here in person, and it is amazing, and I'm beyond thrilled to announce the opening night film for this year's Hot Docs. This year, the festival will open with the world premiere of Into the Weeds, directed by Jennifer Bateswall. Through this David versus Goliath story of a former groundskeeper who takes on a multinational agrochemical corporation after his terminal cancer diagnosis, acclaimed filmmaker Jennifer Bateswall delves into humanity's relationship with the natural world and its responsibility to protect it. The film is a masterful work of investigation, insight, and empathy. Here's a clip from Into the Weeds.
He was living here when he got that job. And they had 2 kids, and there was a sofa bed here at one time. It lit out from a couch into a bed.
Yeah, the boys used to sleep on the couch. You would sleep on the floor where you can lay down. So we just laid down and we got our rest, and every so I got up and went to work to 2 jobs, and I did whatever I could when I could. You know, we had the 2 boys, and it was tough, it was tight in here. We got through it, though.
He'd been unemployed for so long.
Yeah.
And when he got that job, he was just ecstatic.
Yeah, that job saved me from the bottom. They know that I'm sick from this stuff, but I don't have any power. This is about food, this is about seed, this is about health, this is about the soil, this is about environment. This is not an Lee Johnson story. This is bigger than me.
Jennifer Bateswall is one of Canada's leading documentary filmmakers with a remarkable body of work that speaks to her curiosity, her artistry, and her range as a filmmaker. Into the Weeds showcases not only Jennifer's skill in shaping a layered story of global significance, but also her empathy and ability to connect with those whose story she's sharing. We're honored to be opening the festival with Into the Weeds and to have Jennifer here today, who, by the way, is the first filmmaker in Hot Docs history to open the festival twice. That's worth celebrating. Please welcome Jennifer Bateswall and her producer, Daniel Iron.
Danny and I have been working together for 30 years, and now we are starting to look like each other. like people and their dogs. Oh, sorry. Here we go. You go first.
Yeah, we just want to say it's such an honor to premiere this movie, which has been in the works for 3 years. 3 years? 3 years.
3 or 4.
At this wonderful festival that it really feels like home to us. I think we've all professionally grown up with this festival and watched it turn into the preeminent documentary festival in the world. So it really is a thrill, and thank you to Hot Docs for choosing the movie.
Yeah, very much so. We're incredibly honored and proud and excited. And, you know, these stories are... Sometimes people were asking us about this film when we were making it, and it's like, well, it's about global insect collapse, another comedy from Mercury Films. But you know, I'm so grateful for the trust put in us by Lee and his family, and all the other people that really have been involved in this. It's a complicated story to tell, and I'm really, really grateful that we are able to do it. And I hope you all are as moved by it as we were making it. And look forward to seeing you there at the opening.
Thank you. Hot Docs, Big Ideas program presented by Scotia Wealth Management continues our tradition of engaging with the sharpest minds on the most provocative of subjects, with special guests present for each film. The lineup for this year's Big Ideas program includes Canadian director Daniel Roher delves into the poisoning of Russian politician Alexei Navalny in the real-life political thriller Navalny. Meet Jose Andreas, renowned chef and founder of World Central Kitchen, as he discusses his humanitarian mission in We Feed People. Before TikTok goes boom, find out what impact it's having on our children, our data, and our future in TikTok Boom. They're back. The Kids in the Hall join us to talk the past, present, and future of comedy, along with the team behind the Kids in the Hall Comedy Punks, directed by Reg Harkema. And Abigail Disney, yes, of those Disneys, joins us to discuss income inequality and holding company executives' feet to the fire in The American Dream and Other Fairy Tales. Big names, important subjects, big ideas. Back to you, Heather.
Thanks, Shane. As Shane mentioned, this amazing program would not be possible without the tremendous support of our presenting platinum partner, Scotia Wealth Management. They have been true leaders in the support of the arts. In addition to our Big Ideas series, they have helped us expand our Docs for Schools program to reach over 100,000 students at more than 300 high schools across Canada. Please join me in welcoming a good friend of the festival, Scotiabank's Executive Vice President, Canadian Wealth Management, Alex Basharat.
Thank you, Heather. Look, I'm delighted to be here. What a lineup of films to be associated with. We've been supporting Hot Docs for 11 years. That partnership means a lot to us. Of course, Hot Docs, and for the last 29 years, has brought this art form and to our city. And the thought-provoking ideas, the amazing diversity of ideas that are there, and you talked about that, and the diversity of people that represent these ideas. You know, I come from a part of the world where thoughts are suppressed, and the exposure of this to people and the softness that this brings to society, it's better appreciated when you've not had it and you have it, and we have it in abundance here. So we are so proud, really proud to be associated with this, to sponsor the event. We have a double benefit because we get the pleasure of sponsoring the events and pleasure of watching the movies. So thank you for that, and enjoy it, and see you at the events. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks so much, Alex. We have also redoubled our efforts to make sure that our programming is accessible to as wide an audience as possible. Hot Docs, sorry, I need to be closer to the mic. I won't repeat what I just said. Hot Docs is proud to continue to offer free daytime screenings for students and seniors. Free tickets to newcomers and others through our audience development partners, and to present an expanded selection of films with closed captioning and described video. Please join me in welcoming from our signature partner, CBC, the wonderful Jennifer Dettman, Executive Director, Unscripted Content, and Chair of the Documentary Channel. Jennifer? It's such a treat to see people in person.
Thank you, Heather. Nice to see you, too. I'm so grateful to be here today in person and have the opportunity to celebrate this festival and documentary filmmaking. The CBC is proud to sponsor and partner with Hot Docs, and we're thrilled to be able to offer free screenings to students again this year. This is a natural partnership for us, and one of the many ways that we continue to support documentary storytelling in this country. Now, more than ever, audiences are seeking out docs. Documentaries can provide a sense of meaning and connection during these very strange and complex times. And depending on the film you choose to watch, it can help you better understand the world around you or escape from it into a good story. At the CBC, we're privileged to work with so many incredibly talented filmmakers in this country, and we're committed to shining a light on their work. We commission more than 80 documentaries a year, and now we have 800 films on CBC Gem that you can screen for free at any time. And here at the festival, we're proud partners of many films, including Into the Weeds. Congratulations, and thank you so much, Jennifer, for your very important and powerful film. We're so honored to be a partner with you on it. And following its festival premiere and its world premiere here, We're honored to bring it to audiences across the country on CBC Gem and CBC TV in the fall on The Passionate Eye. Thank you, Heather, and to the entire Hot Docs team, and congratulations for launching this year's festival back in person. I know that was not an easy feat. It's really an impressive lineup of films that you have planned, and clearly why it's one of the best festivals in the world. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you, Jennifer. This year, we're once again thrilled to present the Rogers Audience Award for Best Canadian Documentary. The top 3 Canadian features, as determined by audience vote, will split a $50,000 cash prize, courtesy of our founding partner, Rogers Group of Funds. The winner will be announced at a special free encore screening on the final night of the festival. This year, we're also thrilled to welcome Cineplex as a new presenting partner. Thank you, Ellis Jacob, for your generosity. And thanks to their support, festival screenings will take place at Cineplex's Varsity and VIP cinemas, as well as here at the Hot Docs Ted Rogers Cinema, the TIFF Bell Lightbox, and the Isabel Bader Theatre. In addition to Scotia Wealth Management, CBC, Rogers Group of Funds, and Cineplex, I would also like to thank very much our other major partners for their generous support: Netflix, Telefilm Canada, the Government of Ontario, as well as the Toronto Arts Council and the Ontario Arts Council. Thank you. That, yes, matters. As ever, the festival is a key opportunity for filmmakers to advance their craft and find support for their next film. To speak to this year's professional slate, please welcome our amazing Director of Industry Programs, Elizabeth Radshaw.
Thank you so much. Hot Docs Industry supports the documentary landscape, filmmakers, industry players, and audiences, and our programs are part of a continuum of support that propel filmmakers' projects and their careers. This year, Hot Docs Industry is hybrid. So in real life, we're presenting Hot Docs Industry Live. It's 3 days of events that spark creativity, inspire new perspectives, and ask the hard questions that we face as a community. We hope to make new connections between guest filmmakers and our industry delegates. In the virtual world, Hot Docs is doing business. COVID forced us online, and that's what it took for us to realize that we could create new opportunities and access and equity for our global documentary community. And this year, our market programs and sessions, including Hot Docs Forum, Dealmaker, Distribution Rendezvous, and the Doc Shop, welcome everyone from their home offices around the globe, veteran filmmakers and emerging filmmakers, to connect. We can't wait to do this work in person again, but we can't help but notice by being online has open access to people and companies that can fund and distribute and broadcast documentaries. Our marquee event is the Hot Docs Forum and Dealmaker, and it's the greatest show in documentary film finance. You've heard me say that before. Online and in person, we've been doing this for over 20 years, and it works really well. The Forum and Dealmaker have raised more than $120 million for independent films. It's a game-changing event for the 20 filmmakers that have been selected from over 19 countries, and a record number of Dealmaker meetings follow up the Forum pitch to support an additional films in progress. We're proud to say that the First Look Prize is in its 5th year. This award is given to a selected Forum pitch, thanks to the generosity of the First Look supporters. These First Look supporters are donors to the arts, and they get a behind-the-scene access to the industry. And last year, we awarded a combined $110,000 to 3 projects: Light of the Setting Sun, Mother Vera, and Fire of Love. 10 of the Hot Docs Forum alumni and Dealmaker projects and 7 of the recipients of the Hot Docs portfolio of funds are screening at our festival. So what are we doing the rest of the year here? Thanks to the generous support of Netflix, the Canadian Storytellers Project supports BIPOC filmmakers, Indigenous filmmakers, deaf filmmakers, filmmakers with disabilities, and Francophone filmmakers. It comes in 3 parts: our Doc Accelerator Lab mentorship program, our Cross Currents Canadian Fund, and our Doc Ignite Labs across Canada. This is our commitment to the continuum of support for filmmakers throughout their careers. Since its inception, the Hot Docs Funds have supported 332 films in our $12 million portfolio of grants. And just last year, we committed nearly $800,000 to 38 projects. This makes us one of the most generous film festivals in the world. Our Cross Currents Doc Fund empowers filmmakers from historically underrepresented communities to tell their stories in short, experimental, and interactive works, as well as feature films. And 3 of our Cross Currents international projects, which we funded last round, will pitch at this year's forum. Our Hot Docs Slate Family Music Fund alumni, Beautiful Scars, directed by Shane Belcourt, is selected at this year's festival. And in its 10th year, the Hot Docs Blue Eyes Fund has awarded $150,000 to 9 documentaries, and we'll be inviting 5 of those teams to our labs. We're very proud of this year's festival screening selection, African Moot, which was supported by the Hot Docs Blue Eyes Fund, directed by Shamila Sadat, one of our Hot Docs alumni. We applaud the many successes of the Film Fund alumni that have received at awards and premieres and other festivals and nominations around the world. Hot Docs Industry helps all these films get made. But I think you want to focus on seeing these films with us now. So please welcome back Director of Programming Shane Smith, and alongside Senior International Programmer Marisha Watamaniak.
We're back. Marisha and I haven't done this double act for 3 years, and I haven't seen you for 2. So great to see you again.
Still wearing jogging pants.
Yeah. So documentary filmmakers are continuing to defy the odds and bring us revelatory stories that show our world in all of its fascinating, infuriating, beautiful complexity. This year's lineup offers a truly outstanding selection of documentaries from a globe spanning 63 countries, encompassing subjects that are inspiring, eye-opening, enlightening, and entertaining. Here are some highlights. As already announced, our special presentations program, sponsored by Crave, brings you high-profile stories, big names, and award-winning films, including A Maternal Health Crisis Affecting Black Families Uncovered in Aftershock, the Tiananmen Square Massacre remembered through the lens of Christine Choi in The Exiles, an unflinching look at disability in the award-winning I Didn't See You There. Genetic modification in pursuit of perfection in the investigative thriller Make People Better. Close to home, the Yorkville Swindler gets the spotlight in Barry Averich's The Talented Mr. Rosenberg. The fight for recognition for a disease which doesn't exist in The Quiet Pandemic. And a charming look at the intriguing world of pigeons and those who fancy them in $1 Million Pigeons.
International Spectrum, supported by the Donner Canadian Foundation, is our Oscar-accredited competition program featuring world and international premieres of exceptional documentaries, including Hong Kong activists across generations connecting in Blue Island, an octogenarian drag queen lives life out loud despite homophobia and old age in Boylesque, environmental crusaders confront danger and death threats in the Philippines in Delicado, a young man attempts to piece together a relationship with his absent mother in Sam Now. The murder of a Slovakian journalist implicates the political elite in the killing of a journalist, and the youth of a nation are forever marked by a sensationalized crime in Petites.
World Showcase is our global survey of compelling stories from around the world, including Real Meets Hypothetical as law students from across Africa debate human rights issues in African Moot. 2 female singers on an Afghan TV show watch their dreams dissolve as the Taliban returns to power in director Fazila Amiri's And Still I Sing. Work-life balance gets the tech startup treatment in Good Life, and it doesn't go well. Confrontation with patriarchy leads to healing in Mum. The power of friendship is both tested and reinforced in Queer My Friends. The complicated history of Cuba is the backdrop of Lessons for Luca, and Shooting War from Canadian director Patrick Dell brings us into the world and work of globally renowned conflict photojournalists.
As we watch Russia's invasion of Ukraine unfold in devastating detail, 3 films in this year's festival bring us into the lives of Ukrainians dealing with the ongoing insurgency, including an experiential journey along eastern Ukraine's front line in Zero Position. A child mascot for Ukraine's revolution tries to find his adult path in Outside, and a gripping, heart-rending look at the lives in limbo in a refuge for abandoned children in the award-winning A House Made of Splinters. Women speak up and will be heard in our ever-popular Persister program, presented in partnership with Oxfam Canada. Hear stories of confronting generations of abuse as a path towards healing in Silent Beauty, a beautiful ode to the complexities and resilience of motherhood in Ernesto Gracias, and you're invited to the most uncomfortable dinner party of your life and a radically honest conversation about racism and privilege in Deconstructing Karen.
Bringing buried stories to light, our theme program Hidden Histories includes family reckonings and reconciliations in 4 Journeys and Relative. Fascinating archival footage reveals a military facility focused on quashing civil disobedience in Riotsville, USA. And filmmaker Barry Cohen brings us a searing account of the abuses suffered at Ontario's oldest government-run home for disabled children in Unloved, Huronia's Forgotten Children. Chile is in the spotlight this year, and our Made in Chile program brings unique perspectives and fresh voices to stories from the country, including a challenge to Chile's colonial history by a Mapuche artist in On Suspicion, Zocanentu, and past political repression meets the swelling social movement of today in Meeting Point. Made in Chile is presented in partnership with the Ministry of Culture, Art and Heritage, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Division of Cultures, Arts, Heritage and Public Diplomacy, Pro-Chile, and Chile Doc. Creative minds, artistic pursuits, and inventive filmmaking abound in this year's Artscapes program, sponsored by Go RVing Canada, and featuring the story of legendary mime Marcel Marceau comes to life in The Art of Silence, a fascinating and fulsome look at heavy metal icon and devil horns pioneer, there you go, Ronnie James Dio in Dio, Dreamers Never Die. Astonishing survival secrets from Auschwitz are revealed in How Saba Kept Singing. Powerful acts of resistance are captured in the work of a Sami textile artist in Historia, Stitches for Sapmi, and the theft of a de Kooning painting is one of the least provocative criminal elements of the outrageous story of the thief collector.
We partner again with EFP, European Film Promotion, for the changing face of Europe, focusing on unexpected stories from new talents. Nuclear energy as a controversial solution to the climate crisis is investigated in Atomic Hope Inside the Pro-Nuclear Movement. A contrasting perspective looks at the challenges of disposing of nuclear waste in the Hypnotic Burial. And an Icelandic all-female art rock band has 1 year to make it or break it in band. And they do it in jumpsuits. It's amazing. 2 of our newer programs return to showcase very different forms of documentary. Markers, our program of boundary-pushing filmmaking, includes Zarasi Zane, Crossing Voices, a stirring portrait of radical collectivity, the genre and geography shifting This House, and the newest form of experimental film, the newest work from experimental film legend James Benning, The United States of America. Deep Dive, our episodic documentary program, offers up bingeable gems with the world premieres of the chilling, twisted search for justice that is the unsolved murder of Beverly Lynn Smith, from director Nathalie Bibot. A Thorn in the Side of the EU tells all in the eye of the storm, the political odyssey of Yanis Varoufakis. And a smart, quirky, playful look at the things that are going to take us out in We're All Gonna Die, even Jay Baruchel. And for all of you creatures of the night, our provocative night vision program doesn't disappoint. This year featuring a search for enlightenment like you've never seen in Crows Are White, and a real-life This Is Spinal Tap as a punk band implodes spectacularly in Fuck It Up. Now, let's take a look at the selection of trailers for this year's film.
Нас фотографируете, да? Tell them, sorry, if they don't mind me filming them walking up the street.
Ничего, что он за вами будет идти, камера
Да
снимать.
ничего, пожалуйста. Вот на нашу улицу можете посмотреть, где мы живем. Мой дом разбитый.
Добрий ранок. Я закриваю вікно, Оксана, прошу. Закривай.
У вас камера включена?
Що покажете?
Шановні.
No, it's not on.
Вот в этом доме у нас первого убила
Парня. Да, 30, наверное.
33, наверное.
Вот такими нас длинными первый раз бомбили. Мы вот так на пол упали, кидала так по. А это мой брат тоже. Крышу немного повредили, мы подкрыли все, а вторично разбило. А вот тут, да, первый наперво пострадал тот дом.
Naturen talar till oss. Men vi har inte lyssnat. Allting är i obalans. Det är någonting som håller på att hända.
Täällä ei ole niin laskenut. Me koen laskenut.
Vastin, että saan johkua kantai. Oli soma vaina, oli tunja vasten.
Jag föddes i en kamp. I den samiska kulturen har vi alltid tvingats kämpa mot religiöst förtryck, mot statens och överhetens övergrepp, mot intrång i våra marker och i vår kultur. Och nu har vi en ny kamp vi måste föra mot klimatförändringarna. Och klarar vi inte den, då kommer den att bli våran sista.
Na minha sala tinha uma escuta clandestina. É nessa parede aqui que estava embutido todo equipamento de escuta. Tá vendo?
A saga do Bustani começou quando foi escolhido diretor-geral da OPCW, a Organização para a Proibição de Armas Químicas.
Quando a minha organização começou a trabalhar, espalhou-se na comunidade internacional desses países que havia uma filosofia diferente por parte da OPAC. Todo mundo era tratado da mesma maneira. Foi nesse momento que as relações com os americanos degringolou de vez.
We do know that the Iraqi regime currently has chemical and biological weapons of mass destruction.
Se eu lançasse as inspeções, em 30 dias eu provaria que não tinha nada.
Jose and many of you have done something in relation to Iraq that was unforgivable.
Bustani didn't realize that his job was to do what the United States told him. In this case, to sit down, stay out of the way, because we're going to war and we're getting rid of Saddam Hussein.
A tragédia das Torres Gêmeas parecia até uma encomenda.
We have urged the Director General to resign for the good of the organization.
And Bustani said no.
I think that the only explanation is the fact that I am not prepared to follow orders from Washington.
Nessa hora, quem manda não somos nós. Tem forças maiores que vêm e comandam. Poder é o poder.
Teve outros países que defenderam mais o Bustani do que o próprio Brasil.
Those in favor, 3.
Those against, 6. Those abstaining, 6.
The decision is not adopted.
Que hoje em dia, diante do que está acontecendo, as evoluções e tal, da situação internacional de hoje, eu devo confessar que há uma certa decepção e um certo desânimo da minha parte. Eu não posso negar que isso aconteça. Isso é fato. Mas, de qualquer maneira, eu acho que você tem que continuar tentando. Se minha voz vai ser ouvida, melhor. Se não for ouvida, eu não posso dizer mais nada, mas eu pelo menos tentei.
wasn't a heist you'd see in a Hollywood movie.
Authorities still don't know who took it.
It's a mystery, an unsolved case.
Many thought a $160 million masterpiece was gone forever until it turned up in Silver City.
There's basically three types of thieves. The first type is the theft of opportunity. The second is the individuals who are doing it for money.
And then there's the third kind of art thief, and that's the art thief who steals for themselves.
And those are the most dangerous.
Rita and Jerry Alter were my aunt and uncle. Oh, they were definitely soulmates, and he would do anything for her.
Their house was full of souvenirs from their travels around the world.
It seems like this couple is really the story here. They're the mystery.
If you've got the right psychology, you go after that painting. You take it, you make it yours.
They saw themselves as masters of victimless crimes.
This is crazy to me that it was just hanging up on their wall.
We didn't know the real Jerry and Rita.
The thief collector is the darkest of them all.
Wasn't it worth about 300,000?
160 million.
Yeah. Well, my personal opinion, I wouldn't give you $5 for it.
I'm gonna be famous! We gaan in privévliegtuig. Zelfde outfit, alles. Hey man!
Die carro komt allemaal in familie. Voorkom bij elkaar. Voor contact met ons doen aan wat ik doe. In de vakantie. Alleen zomaar zo de rij geweest. En ik had dat pauw doen aan hoe of wat.
Geef antwoord, jongen.
Ik zeg
Wat is
Als oma terugkomt in Nederland, heeft ze geen auto. Deze zomervakantie, jongen. Je hebt geen zomer.
Ik verkoop ijsjes.
Oh, ze zingen wel lekker, hè?
Ja.
Dankjewel. Succes, Jeremy boy. Succes, hè? Hallo, jongeman. Oma moet je nog bij elkaar krijgen, hè?
Hoe heeft oma gereageerd? Oma praat niet tegen mij, vriend. Oma praat niet tegen jou. En nu? Focus op muziek, vriend. Niks komt binnen, broer. Het gaat sloom voor mij. Ik ga gewoon vissen geven, man. Vissen en peper, man. Ik ga mensen gewoon bij pot laten betalen. Zie je, die bouw mijn oma via WhatsApp-video.
Ik weet niet wie je oma is. Ik weet zelfs niet wie jij bent. Ik weet
Oh
niet
my
wie
god.
Ai, Lego!
Het leven is oneerlijk. Als we ons ding blijven doen, komt het wel goed. Dit is een feest, hé. Hallo voor mij. Ik heb heftige schulden om te betalen, hè.
Zo, ik denk dat die feest niet gaat lukken.
Ik weet dus ook, ik ga die feest geven, dat weet je.
Just a very small sample of the range of stories that you'll see in the festival this year. Our 2022 Outstanding Achievement Award recipient is Indian documentary pioneer Anand Patwarden, and he will join us at the festival to present 4 of his films, including the award-winning epic Reason, along with an extended onstage conversation. And we honor our 2020 Outstanding Achievement Award recipient Stanley Nelson with a special screening of his Oscar-nominated film Attica and the international premiere of 2 new films, Harriet Tubman, Visions of Freedom, and Becoming Frederick Douglass. Our Redux program showcases newly restored Canadian documentaries with digital remastering of these films made possible by the generous financial support of Telefilm Canada in partnership with Hot Docs. The films include 2 Iglulik Azuma productions, Messages from Our Past and From Inuk Point of View, directed by Zacharias Canuck, and 3 features from filmmaking duo Holly Dale and Janice Cole, Calling the Shots, Hookers on Davie, and P4W, Prison for Women. I also want to take a moment to recognize and to thank our programming team who have worked tirelessly to shape this year's festival program. I am exceedingly grateful for their insights, their commitment, and their patience. They are Senior International Programmers Mirosha Wadamaniuk, Heather Haynes, and Angie Driscoll, who's also our Senior Shorts Programmer, International Programmer Ravi Srinivasan, Associate International Programmer Sama Ali, Shorts programmer Eileen Arandiga, Markers programmer Jesse Cumming, Mid-lengths programmers Danae Peters and Vivian Bellick, the Canadian team of senior programmer Alex Rogowsky, programmer Aisha Jamal, and associate programmer Mariam Zaidi. They are supported by our amazing senior programming manager, Jessica Gill, and programming admin coordinator, Kristen Boivin. A truly remarkable team. Yes, please thank them. Nordic Films screening at the festival and made possible as part of Nordic Bridges 2022 in collaboration with Harbourfront Centre, Toronto. Documentary filmmakers continue to bring us outstanding, outspoken stories, and this year's Hot Docs offers the best in nonfiction filmmaking from around the globe. The world once again returns to Toronto cinemas, we can't wait, and to homes across the country at Hot Docs 2022. To share some of the many highlights from the Canadian program this year, please welcome senior Canadian programmer Alex Rogowsky.
Thank you, Shane. Good morning. My colleague Aisha bailed on me, so you're just stuck with me this morning. But I'm glad to be here, and we're thrilled to present 49 new Canadian productions and co-productions, which include 29 features, 2 limited series, and 18 shorts by both Masters of the Art and those making their film debuts. Canadian programming team watched over 300 films to select this year's program. These are a few of the highlights in addition to those already mentioned. The world premiere of Mark Bone's debut feature showcases 4 talented autistic musicians from Toronto who come together in OK, the ASD band film. And Mike Holbloom returns to the festival with the world premiere of Freedom from Everything, sharing a personal perspective on the plagues that surround us, while Eternal Spring uses incredible animation to highlight Chinese activists who take over a state television station. The popular Persister program includes 2 Canadian titles. Chloe Sosa Sims' Hunting in Packs features 3 determined and bold female politicians from 3 different countries, including Canadian MP Michelle Rempel, and Phyllis Ellis's Category Woman investigates the World Athletics Organization's problematic regulation and testing of female athletes, including Olympian Caster Semenya. Revisiting the past to better understand who we are today is a rich theme in stories of individuals making themselves heard. Chase Joint's Sundance Award-winning Framing Agnes is a genre-bending tour de force that highlights a vital piece of transgender history. And Handle with Care, the legend of the Nautic Streetball Crew, revisits a group of insanely talented basketball players who share their jaw-dropping moves and highlight a side of the sport that's rarely seen. And director Shane Belcourt collaborates with artist, singer, and songwriter Tom Wilson to adapt his powerful memoir, Beautiful Scars. A festival favorite with their quirky short films, we're excited to share Joni Lafreniere's feature debut, Gabor, where the friendship between the filmmaker and her subject is a springboard to celebrate the 93-year-old photographer Gabor Solassi. And the world premiere of Scrap takes us around the world in Stacy Tenenbaum's beautiful and philosophical take on the environmental art film. Andrew Moore's touching and sensitive portrait, Don't Come Searching, observes the last days of a couple's relationship traveling between seasonal labor work in Canada and their small Jamaican town. Meanwhile, across the globe, a Syrian war refugee invites us into her life, where she spent the past decade in Lebanon working as a farm laborer in Nora Kevorkian's Batata. And through the use of miniatures, we enter a bizarre world of twisted turns in Jackie Torrens' Who Done It? Bernie Langell wants to know who killed Bernie Langell. And once again, we have great representation of Canadian shorts throughout the festival. We're happy to have the directors of Life on Mars, Not My Today, and Bad at This with us here today. To close, we want to honor Raymond Provencher, who was selected for this year's Canadian Focus On, featuring a selection of her work over the past 20 years. The Focus On series is supported by KM Hunter Charitable Foundation. And a big thank you to TV Ontario for their continued sponsorship of the Canadian Spectrum program. And with that, I am very pleased to welcome back Jonathan De Silva, Communications Director of Hot Docs, to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a few closing remarks. Hot Docs is committed to offering a safe and comfortable live festival experience for our audiences, delegates, staff, volunteers, and all other guests. In accordance with provincial guidelines, screening venues will be operating at full capacity and proof of vaccination for patrons will not be required. Hot Docs has taken several steps to reduce crowd congestion and lineups at venues, including increasing the time between screenings, implementing assigned seating, suspending rush tickets, and simplifying and encouraging contactless online ticket purchasing. In this transitional period where individual comfort levels may vary, and in response to feedback from our audiences, we will be requiring face masks for all Hot Docs patrons, staff, and volunteers at screening venues. If patrons aren't yet comfortable attending live screenings, we encourage them to enjoy the festival online, streaming across Canada on Hot Docs at Home. Given the nature of our industry program, delegates will be required to provide proof of vaccination and wear face masks at all industry venues and social events. We thank MedCan and Hot Docs' Chief Medical Officer, Alan Soto, for their invaluable guidance in developing and implementing this year's health and safety policies and procedures. More information can be found at hotdocs.ca. The full Hot Docs program is now available online, and you can pick up a screening schedule from our lobby. Hot Docs members and festival ticket package holders may now obtain screening tickets online. Single tickets go on sale to the public on Tuesday, April 5th. We encourage all patrons to obtain their tickets in advance online at hotdocs.ca. If you are a filmmaker or a publicist participating in the interview portion of this morning's press conference, please remain seated as we set media cameras in the upstairs lobby and the social media cameras down at the front of the stage. A member of Hot Docs communications team will be escorting you up to your interviews. We're aiming to do this in as safe and orderly a fashion as possible, and we thank you for your patience and cooperation. For everyone else, we'd like to thank you again for coming and ask that, for safety reasons, as you exit the building, you avoid gathering and congestion in the lobby. Thank you again for coming, and we hope to see you at the festival.